In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can use Garageband to create your own podcasts. First thing that you need to do is open up Garageband. This version of Garageband is version 10.2, so it doesn't actually give me the option anymore to select the podcast feature. If you have a slightly older version of Garageband and it gives you that option, select the podcast feature. I'm just going to select empty project. It enables me to do the exact same thing, so it doesn't really make much difference. I'm just going to press choose. So I'm going to split up my podcast into three parts. I'm going to add some audio recording directly into GarageBand. I'm going to add some external recordings, which I've done on an external microphone and saved as an MP3 files onto my desktop. I'm going to add them in as well as step 2. And step 3, I'm going to show you how to add in some jingles and other sound effects, and then also how to edit it. And then finally, I'm going to show you how you can share it as an MP3 file to your desktop. Then it's ready to upload onto a blog space or a podcasting site or a website. So the first thing that I'm going to do then, step 1, is I'm going to record some audio directly into GarageBand. So I'm going to select audio. I'm going to use the built-in microphone. If you're using an external microphone, then you just need to click on this button and you'll see the name of your microphone that you've connected, and you just select that. But I'm using the built-in one, so I'm just going to press create. So I'm going to record my voice now. At the moment, I've been working with a school on creating their own radio show. So they've got their own 2 presenters. So that will be the first job as part of creating their podcast episode, will be to record their presenters doing their scripts. So we're going to pretend now that I've got a script ready to record. So I'm going to click voice. I'm just going to choose natural voice, and I'm going to press the record button. Just check that I'm happy with the volume levels. Might just turn the volume up slightly. Okay, I'm just going to stop it. One thing I forgot in here, that quite annoying clicking sound, that's called the metronome. I don't want that in, so I'm just going to click on that to turn it off. And I don't need the counting neither, so I'm just going to switch that off. Okay, so I don't want that track now, so I'm just going to go to track and delete track. Just press OK. Okay, let's start it again. Press create. Okay, let's try again. So I've not got that on now. Now, obviously, the playhead, if you notice now, has moved on slightly. I don't want to start my recording from there. I want to start it from the beginning. So just make sure that's moved back to the beginning. And then ready to press record. Hello and welcome to Podcast FM. First up on today's show is a special interview. Okay, if you've got quite a long script and you're not having to record the radio show live, especially if you've perhaps got a lot of external recordings that you want to add into it as well, perhaps interviews that children have done with teachers around school, or reviews that they might have done on iPods or Easy Speak microphones and things like that. You might not want to record the whole of your presenter script first and then add your external bits in, because it can get a bit difficult then positioning things and cutting things, and it can get a bit fiddly. So a better way to do it would be to record it bits at a time. So here you can see I've just recorded a little introduction bit to the podcast, and I've ended it where it said about the link going into the interview that was recorded on an external track. So I've stopped the recording there, and I'm going to find that interview that I've just linked to, which is on my desktop, saved as an MP3 file, and I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to drag it in and position it where I want it to come in part of the show. So you can see I've got my audio that I've just recorded there, the presenter's introduction, and then we've got this external audio here, which is the interview that was pre-recorded. So I can just move that back now, and I can have a listen to that, make sure that I'm happy with it. Hello and welcome to Podcast FM. First up on today's show is a special interview. This is some external audio that I've recorded. Okay, so you can see the external audio, the volume levels are quite a lot higher, so I can just adjust that. So I can turn the volume down on that slightly and turn the volume up on the audio that I've just recorded. Okay, so I'm ready to record the next bit of the presenter's script. So I'm going to move the playhead to where I want it to be, make sure that track is selected and press record. Next up in the show we have a special report on last night's football match. Okay, and again I can drag that in there. And we can move that across. Okay. And finally in the show we have a book review. If you record something and you're not happy with it and you want to start it again, basically you can just click on it and you can delete it. To delete a particular region rather than the whole of the track, because if I deleted the whole of that track now, it would delete the other bits that I've recorded as well, and I just want to delete this particular bit. To do that, you just double click on it to select it. It will bring it up down here at the bottom, and then you can just press the delete button on your keyboard and it will delete it. So let's just record that bit again then, because I wasn't happy with that. And finally tonight we have a special book review to end the show. Okay, again I can add in that extra bit of recording. So that's how to add in audio recordings directly and also external recordings as well. Another thing you can do as well, in fact let's just have a listen back to that and see what it sounds like. Hello and welcome to Podcast FM. First up. Okay, so you notice how there's quite a bit of a pause there, and I wasn't really too happy with it with such a long pause. I can cut bits out rather than deleting the whole of a region or the whole of a track. I can just select smaller bits and take them out. So what you need to do is just move the playhead to find that particular part of it that you want to get rid of, and you split it. So if we just move that back, I think it was first up on FM. Okay, so the pause was starting a little bit there, so the playhead's in about the right position there. So I'm just going to go to edit and just make sure that bit's selected. So edit, split regions at playhead. First up on. Okay, and then it comes back in there. So it's just that little bit there, so I'm just going to split it again. And then it's just that little bit there that I want to get rid of, so just select that bit and then just delete it. Now when you split something, you then have to put everything else back in position, so you don't want to be splitting loads and loads of things, otherwise you end up having to keep repositioning everything. So try not to get in the habit of splitting lots of things, it can get a bit time consuming. Okay, so I've added a audio recording directly into there. That's now presenters saying their bit. I've added in some external MP3 recordings as well. The final thing that I'm going to do is add in some sounds to make the podcast a bit more interesting. So to do that, I'm going to press this button here. Looks like a little loop. Click on that and that brings up all the different instruments. You can search for a particular instrument or a particular name of a track or a sound effect. You've got things like jingles, you've got sound effects. So let's add in a jingle actually. I've not got much there at the moment because I need to purchase some more sounds, but there's one that I could use. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so when you found one and you like it and you want to use it, again it's a case of just dragging and dropping it in to the position where you want it to go. So I might use that actually perhaps at the beginning of the show, so I'll just move all these things across. remove that. I'm going to shorten it a little bit actually. I don't want the, maybe lengthen it a bit actually. So let's just move everything across now. Put this in the right place. I don't want it too loud, so just turn it down a bit. Just check that everything else is in the right place. So because I'm positioning things now, I've got to move these other tracks as well. Oops. Okay, so you can see that that's probably overlapping a bit there, so I just need to move this across a little bit. Okay, let's see what this sounds like from the beginning. Hello and welcome to Podcast FM. First up on today's show is a special interview. This is some external audio that I've recorded. Could be an interview with a teacher, perhaps something else. Next up in the show we have a special report on last night's football match. This is another bit of external audio that I've recorded. For example, it could be a report of the school football match that I watched during the week, or a report of something else that I've recorded on an iPod or an iPad. And finally tonight we have a special book review to end the show. This is some more external audio that I've recorded on an external device. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea. So once I'm happy with that and I've done all my editing and I've played around with the volume levels on each track, you know, for this particular podcast I might want to add a jingle again at the end maybe, or even perhaps a song if I've got a particular song that I've saved and I want to add that to it. When you've done all that and you're happy with it and you're ready to share your podcast to your school website or to a blog page or to a podcast hosting site, it might be an idea to save your Garageband file first of all on your desktop. So I'll just do that first, just in case there's any problems with sharing it. And then to share it as an MP3 file, I just need to go to Share and Export Song to Disk. And that's saved to my desktop now as an MP3 file, ready to upload, like I say, onto the school website, onto a blog page, or onto a podcast hosting site. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. If you've got any questions or anything you need to know, just please get in touch.